Imagine this. 70,000 years ago, every human on Earth could fit inside a football stadium. And yet today, we are over 8 billion spread across every continent. So how did we do it? This is the story of how humans conquered the world. Homo sapiens, that's us, first appeared in Africa around 300,000 years ago. We weren't the only humans. Neanderthals lived in Europe and Denisovans in Asia. But something happened around 70,000 years ago. Scientists call it the cognitive revolution. Our brains evolved to think abstractly, to speak in a complex language, to plan, to tell stories, and that made us curious. Some scientists believe the cognitive revolution was tied to changes in social behavior. Larger groups meant more cooperation, but also more competition. This may have driven the need for more complex communication. Not just for hunting, but for socialization, alliances, and storytelling that helped unite strangers under shared myth. Around 60,000 years ago, a small group left Africa, maybe just a few hundred people. They crossed into the Arabian Peninsula, and from there, through the Middle East, into India, across Southeast Asia. When humans first left Africa, they likely followed coastlines, living off fish, shellfish, and plants. This beachcomber lifestyle may have been the safest route, allowing small groups to travel vast distances without venturing too far inland, where predators and rival groups roamed. By 50,000 years ago, humans reached Australia, likely using simple boats. It was the first major sea crossing in human history. Europe was already home to the Neanderthals, but around 45,000 years ago, Homo sapiens arrived. Here you might wonder, how is it that humans began settling Europe at the same time or even later than Australia? After all, Europe is much closer to Africa. As I mentioned earlier, our ancestors preferred traveling along rivers and coastlines. The road to Australia through Southeast Asia was easier and warmer than moving deep into the cold, glacial lands of Europe. Ice sheets in the north blocked passage, while southern roads along Asia's coast were rich in food and had a mild climate, making them far more appealing for the first humans. Our arrival in Europe brought new tools, art, and ways of living. Cave paintings like those in Chauvet and Lascaux appeared soon after our arrival, suggesting that symbolic art might have been part of what set us apart from Neanderthals. These paintings weren't just decoration, they may have been early maps, teaching tools, or even spiritual messages. The two species coexisted, even interbreed, but within a few thousand years, Neanderthals disappeared. We don't know if we wiped them out, outcompeted them, or just absorbed them. But one thing is clear, we remained, they didn't. For tens of thousands of years, humans hadn't yet reached Americas. Then, around 20,000 years ago, during the last ice age, people crossed a land bridge from Siberia and East Asia to Alaska, known as Beringia. This also explains why the native people of the Americas looked more similar to Asians. From there, they spread south incredibly fast, possibly reaching South America in just a few centuries. Crossing into the Americas meant adapting to a world full of giant animals, mammoths, mastodons, and saber-toothed cats. Some cultures might have developed spear throwers, like the Atlatl, to hunt more effectively. This period saw the rise of megafauna extinctions, possibly linked to human hunting combined with a climate change. This migration would shape two entire continents. The last great frontier was the Pacific. Starting around 3,000 years ago, Austronesian seafarers began crossing vast stretches of ocean. They reached island after island using stars, wind, and wave patterns. The Austronesian navigators' achievements are still studied today. They sailed thousands of kilometers without modern maps or compasses, memorizing wave swells, bird flight patterns, and even cloud shapes to find land. Their canoes could carry families, food, and animals, essentially moving entire villages across the ocean. Eventually, they arrived in Hawaii, New Zealand, and even remote Easter Island. Around the same time, ancient Egyptians were constructing temples in the New Kingdom era, the Zhou dynasty was rising in China, and the Assyrian Empire was expanding in the Mesopotamia. They were the last humans to settle new lands, and one of the best sailors the world had ever seen. Humans have always been explorers at heart. We are the most widespread species on the planet. From the moment our ancestors first stepped out of Africa, they followed rivers, crossed mountains, braved deserts, and sailed into the unknown. Curiosity and the desire to understand the world pushed them into new lands, climate, and ecosystems. From a single origin in Africa, humans reached every corner of Earth. So what made us so successful? Not strength, not speed, but brains, language, cooperation, adaptability. We could live in ice and desert, jungle and mountain. We wore animal skins, built fire, made tools. We imagined gods, invented stories, and created cultures. We didn't just adapt to the planet, we changed it. Not sure if that's a positive thing. If you found this story fascinating, hit like, subscribe, and let me know what amazed you the most. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.